Okay. And we are live again.
Again. Hi.
No, hi. Not that there's going to be anybody here. Do you want me to stand on the
Actually,
side?
let's just sit down and have a talk.
Okay. Okay. So what do you want to talk about?
Well, education.
Well, why do you want to talk about education? Nobody's watching.
I don't care.
Okay. Why is that not lit up? That should be lit up.
Maybe it fits census. There's enough light.
I don't know.
We'll have to figure that one out too.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll
I
figure
can't
all
have
this out.
another. No, you know what it is? I don't know. It's something to do with the internet.
It is.
I've been having problems all day with the internet and it just going like this.
Yeah.
So we were on the topic of education. We might as well finish up on that topic. And first of all, I would like to start off by saying that there are 20 countries in this world, right, that offer free post-secondary education.
Yes, they do.
Okay. So, and that's something that I think Canada should take a look at.
I think Canada should absolutely take a look at
making a post-secondary education free
for those born here.
Well, for Canadians.
Yes.
I think if you're a Canadian citizen and you went to school here,
yes,
you know, your elementary, secondary school, all of that.
I agree.
Then I think that we should be given the opportunity to have free post-secondary education.
Right. But I also believe if you're a Canadian citizen,
yes,
then and you're residing here, I agree. That's why you would know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I don't know, absolutely. Like you can't go live in another country and hop back here for a year and get free education.
Yeah,
right? No, that's not what I meant. I meant, and I know there's a lot more to it than.
Well, in order to get into a university here, you have to have graduated from high school in a way, right?
Yes.
So to me, if you have spent your entire younger years up to high school,
then
everything over that you can get free.
Absolutely, for sure.
Right.
So, yeah.
And why? What do you think the free education is going to do other than give people a free education?
I think it'll increase our standards.
Yeah.
I also think it'll increase productivity. Opportunities.
Income, which if you increase income, you increase taxes. The government's got to like that. Right?
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The government's got to like that.
Yeah.
If you increase people's income, you're increasing the amount of taxes you can get.
Exactly.
So in a way that pays for itself. Like you said, I don't know how you're going to do that.
Well, not only that, we have a lot of foreign students that come here to educate from all over the world because our post-secondary education is exceptional here in Canada, and they pay to go to university here, which is all well and good. The reality is, I think if we live here, and we've gone to school here in our younger years and we're Canadian citizens, I think we should be given the opportunity for free post-secondary. And maybe I'm not saying, you know, oh, look, I want to become a doctor and I'm going to spend the next 7-8 years in school. I'm saying maybe your undergrad degree is free. Anything after that, you would look at
paying portions or all.
But it would be or something or
to me, I'm like, why put a limit on what people can accomplish? Because let's face it, there's a lot of, you know, once you put that limit, well, you can't go anything higher than this without having to pay for it, then automatically it puts a burden on that person not to go any higher. So why put that burden on a Canadian citizen?
Exactly.
We do now, don't get me wrong. I'm saying right now, it doesn't matter. If you don't have the income, we have scholarships and stuff like that for really well, people who do really well and stuff like that through the public system, right?
Exactly.
Through scholarships and that. But that limits people who aren't in the honor roll, but could still become a really good nurse or a really good
No, absolutely. I agree that I think one of the biggest challenges is, what do you do when you come out of school and you have all this debt?
Right.
Right. So one, you're just at the beginning of your career, so you're not getting top dollar.
No.
Okay. No. I don't care whether you're a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, you're just coming out of law school or med school or whatever. You're working 80 hours a week and you are certainly not getting top dollar.
No.
The reality is, like anything else, it's hard work.
You're going to.
And experience
and
education.
It will pay in
and
the
everything.
end. But
and it does pay in the end. But the reality is you have, God knows how much, 60, 100,000 in debt that has to be paid back. And that's so unrealistic.
It's almost as if because you get the education, the government owns you.
Well, kind of. Right. Well, then here's a theory. Go join the forces or something in their ROTC program. Yeah. Get your education paid for. You owe them years of service afterwards, right?
So, just like going back, and I guess if you think that you put two and two together, it's kind of
right.
Thing,
yeah, but you owe like, if you might owe 8 years of service, but after 8 years, hey.
And you've got 8 years of pretty good
and a good resume,
a really good resume.
There's options, but the reality is, I do think post-secondary education in Canada should be free for.
Well, it not being free makes it limiting.
Yes,
makes it limiting.
Right?
Oh, so it becomes a limiting factor in people's income in the future.
I want to clarify something. Everybody has the knowledge or the belief that if you are First Nation, you get free education post-secondary. And that is not actually 100% correct.
No.
One, you have to be status.
Yes.
Right? Two, you have to qualify. 3, you have to access the funding, and it's a lot more complicated and a lot harder to access than most people think it is.
Right.
Right. So I think sometimes they make it that way.
Yeah. Well, we talked
it doesn't get utilized.
Education is one of those things that accessibility for higher education nowadays is becoming more and more able because of the internet and the growth of the internet and the growth technology of the networks. Mm-hmm. So, and satellites up in the sky there. So it's making it so it's more accessible to like northern regions of Canada and other regions, and it's more isolated regions than before. But again, it's not actually accessible. Like people have to have the means first.
Right.
You need the computers and you need
well, you have to have it. Yeah. But the thing is that we're getting off on a different
topic. No, I'm just saying that accessibility to education also is a big thing.
I agree. Okay. So this isn't even covering half of what we wanted to talk about.
No.
So we just went on a rant about post-secondary and how we believe in Canada that we should move towards free post-secondary for Canadian citizens that were educated here in Canada.
Right.
I mean, their younger years. But the other flip side that has been eating away at me for a while now is our public school system. So for a lot of you, our public school system, to be honest, is run, well, we get federal dollars, provincial dollars, and municipal dollars.
Right.
Okay.
But the federal government actually has no,
they don't.
No actual ministry. There's no education ministry. There's nothing like that.
No, that exists within the territories.
And then dispersed.
Yeah, and that exists within the territories and the provinces, and then municipally. Right. So upon investigation in Canada, there are, with the exception of 3 provinces, we have our public school system is funded,
Right.
right? Now, in 3 provinces, the provinces are funding not just the public school system, but they also have tax dollars and funding going to what they call a separate school system.
Yeah.
So they have 2 school
Separate.
systems.
Yeah.
So we have a separate school system in Ontario, in Alberta, and in Saskatchewan.
Right.
Doesn't exist anywhere else, but in those 3 provinces, we have a separate school system, which is linked to the Catholic school system. So, and now fundamentally, and you have discovered,
Yes.
fundamentally, it is our right.
I went and I actually checked. I discovered 2 things. One, that because we are a bilingual country, that we have an act that gives you the right to be educated in your mother tongue in this province or in this country.
Right.
So either French or English. Sorry.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Either French or English.
that's right.
Because those are our only 2 official languages.
Right.
So you can if you move to a province that is the majority is English, you can be educated in a French school system, which we do have here.
Right, but that right exists
That's
even in justice.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then the exact same thing with religion.
Yes.
So you have the right to be educated with your religion. That's your right.
Okay. So that being said, and getting on this separate school system,
Kind of just keep separating all the schools.
Right.
Right.
And
For long, what public school?
right.
We don't ever have to learn how to be tolerant.
Right. And that's one of my things. So we've gone to great lengths, not just us, most nations, governed nations, democratic nations, go to great lengths to separate church and state.
Right.
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 Which we have accomplished in Canada. We do within our justice system in that we separate church and state, but we have not done so in our education system. Now, look, hey, I'm old school. We're Gen Xers. I grew up, God Save the Queen. I grew up the Lord's Prayer in the classroom, Oh Canada. So I get it. But the reality is when you live in a country that promotes multiculturalism, wherein
as we do,
we have Hindus and Muslims and Sikhs and Buddhists and Christians and Jewish people all over Canada. I don't believe religion belongs in our public school systems.
not the public.
Not the public school system.
It is definitely a private school system.
Definitely private schools, because I know.
Because it is their right.
It is absolutely, right? Absolutely. But I think for true equality, in my books, in my opinion,
I know.
for true equality,
It's
in
really
which it doesn't matter
say.
what race or religion you are, that a public school system
Is a public school
system and religion of any kind should not be brought into that public school system. Right. I guess that's my opinion. And I know it's
I have a problem though with any, if as long as publicly or tax money is not going towards a private school system, I have no problem with it.
But they call it, but that's the problem. Our tax dollars do go towards
you get to pick.
Now, here's the thing.
You can pick, right? The Catholic schools.
Actually, and this is a funny thing. When we moved to the county of Grand Prairie, we got a letter after we purchased our home. And in that letter from the county, they asked if they wanted our tax dollars, like whatever portion, to go either towards the Catholic school board or the public school board.
Okay.
Anyway, and I was like, okay. Yeah, because like I said, it's only 3 provinces do this, and they don't call it private school. See, it's not that there aren't isn't Catholic schools in Nova Scotia and other provinces.
No, they are. But they're private schools.
But they're private schools.
Right.
And they're funded privately through the church, through tuition, through whatever.
Pay.
Right. And they're funded privately. However, in Ontario, in Saskatchewan, in Alberta, your dollars coming in from the feds, from the province to the municipalities, right, are funding to school boards.
And then when they come around and speak to you on your census and they ask you, where do you want your education dollars? And you can tell them either public or private.
It's not private, separate. They call it separate here.
Oh, okay.
Even though
separate.
I would argue that
it's private.
It should be private.
Right.
That's my argument. I know we'll probably take a lot of heat for this.
Of course we will. Because if you
it's not that, hey, we're Christian. It's not that. It's just that
I'm a very firm believer. Doesn't mean that I believe in publicly funded money going into a private school system. And
right.
To me,
but they would argue it's not private. It's separate.
Separate.
That's what
so
they're
into
arguing.
A separate school system,
which fundamentally in every other province that doesn't subscribe to this, it's a private
school.
I guess when money's tight, right?
Right.
When money's tight, I think it's something that.
I just think it's a public, and I'll tell you why I think it's public.
Why?
Okay. I think we have to stick with the fact that that's not public, because in public school systems, you can take religion as a course.
Yes, you can. I'm not saying don't learn.
Right.
I'm not saying don't learn about religion.
Right.
All religions.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying don't learn.
Yeah.
I don't want to take the learning out of school.
No.
I'm just saying practice. Not practicing a religion,
right?
In the public school system is my belief, right? And I just think that for the provinces that are still funding a separate school system, a religious school system, I just think that we should move on like the rest of Canada has.
It's even more than like, and that's the thing that people don't understand is because of this right to religious school and it's more than that. Because we also have I know when I lived in Edmonton, there is also a Muslim school that's right up the road.
And it's funded.
And it is also funded.
Okay.
Okay. So because of that right we have, so and that's why I'm saying that I guess putting it into separate school systems the way we are, before long, you're not going to be really that special of a separate school system, because I just like how much is a private school if there were no private schools left and everybody's got their own religious schools,
right?
Why bother having public school system?
But fundamentally, that doesn't happen only in 3 provinces.
Right.
So I just say we get on board with the rest of Canada and have one
and get
public school system that is funded by our federal, provincial, and municipal tax dollars. And not that other schools and systems can't exist, but I say they fall under the private sector.
Right.
Okay. Right. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I get that too.
Okay.
So that's the one part of the education thing that we need to touch.
But how much time?
I don't know. Let's have a look.
We're way
past, but we also lost 10 minutes. So.
Yeah, we did.
Anyways, we just we also wanted to do a quick what's up?
Yes. What's up? Okay, this is a good one. So this is segment. What we're talking about is pap smear etiquette, ladies.
Yep.
Okay, so for years, I thought I was the only weird one out there that didn't know what to do when it was pap smears time.
What's acceptable?
Like, do you tidy up? Do you
what
go
do you do
au naturel? Do you, is
Yeah.
it not
Shave,
quite sure?
don't shave, what do you do?
Right, yeah, not quite sure. So I thought I was the only one until I had a conversation with my sister, and she was like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, okay, so there's gotta be, and you found, she Googled it, people.
I Googled it, and guess what? There's etiquette.
There
is pap smear etiquette.
Who knew?
So here's what you need to know, okay? You need to know that you should not have sex for 2 days prior to going for your pap smear.
Okay.
Which means you should not also douche 2 days before your pap smear.
Okay, do people still do that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't know.
And you should not be using any gels, creams, or lotions prior to going to your pap smear. If you would like to tidy up the region, that's fine. If you are a natural shaver, waxer, whatever it is you do down there, that's fine too. You know why? Because they don't care.
That's what we found out. They don't care. We care more than they care.
Right.
Okay.
And that according to what I also found out, just to put your mind at ease, is that everybody's private area is completely different. So it doesn't matter. They know that and they don't care.
Yeah. So that's what we found out.
Yes.
On pap smear etiquette. So guys, we're gonna say good night, and we hope we gave you something to chew on, and we'll see you back again next week, and we'll get this figured out one way or another.
Yep.
Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
They're